What's up? What's up? Let me get this over here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Man, something's funky up in here. Let me see something. Let me see something. All right. Let me set this up. Let me pop out the chat. Hello. Okay, there we go. Oh, Windows 10 is acting up right now. I think Larry Herb is trying to hold me back. Yo, what's up? What's up, everybody? Let me fix this real quick. People are like, damn, P-Rock, you finally decided to show up. Hey, man, this is an ad hoc thing, all right? You know what I'm saying? Um, Tomorrow, me and the wifey, we out. We're gonna go to Italy, spend 10 days there. So, my man, Rule Breaker, can you please do a video on your thoughts on Days Gone? Do you recommend it? So I'm at the 4th camp of Days Gone. So I think I'm close to beating it, but there's a couple of things I want to do. I want to try to defeat all the hordes, max out all the camps, get all stuff, so that way I could give you a proper review. I know it's taking so long. That's why I don't really do review. I don't do a lot of game reviews because I don't like to review a game unless I completely beat it and actually hit the main points of the game. So that's why I don't even bother, because I don't have the time to get a new game, buy it day one, and then try to beat it within a couple of days, And I don't really try to how would you say, go out to companies, to developers, to publishers, and tell them, hey, send me a review copy, and then I'll put up a review. I don't really do that because I don't have the time. I don't have the time to try to beat a game within a certain time period to put on my channel and review it. If anything, I think that takes away. All right, so for reviews, it's cool if that's what you do and you're cool for it. I don't want to do that. I said this plenty of times. When I'm gaming, the actual gaming portion of my life, I try to keep that away from social media. That's why I don't do a lot of game streams on the channel and stuff, because I actually just want to play and enjoy the games, and it's my hobby, and that's what I want to treat it as. So when I do go on social media, it's mostly talking about it, talking about the industry, talking about the BS. I'm about to do what I'm about to do right now, things like that, right? But the actual reviewing games or game streaming, it's like it feels like it takes away my personal enjoyment of doing the game, if you know what I mean. All right, what's your current thought on Days Gone? Just quick points. It took too long to get to the point of the game. In reality, a lot of people warned me saying, hey, it really doesn't pick up until the 3rd camp. My opinion, it doesn't really pick up until you get to the 3rd camp and halfway into the storyline of the 3rd camp. And I cannot tell you how many hours of gameplay you have to go through before you get to that point. I'm talking, my God, 20 plus hours before you get to the 3rd camp if you're not a speedrunner. So there's a lot of gaming you got to do. And in my opinion, it was very boring. All right. The only reason why I stuck with it was because a lot of people told me just keep pushing through it. So I trust certain people. I trust certain people with that. And number 2, because I want to do the hordes, because you see that videos, I saw videos and stuff like that of people fighting the hordes, and that portion looks fun. In fact, I defeated 3 hordes, some of the smaller ones, and it is a fun experience facing the hordes, all right? Especially if you don't try to cheat yourself out of it, because there's ways you can glitch and cheat yourself out of it to make it really, really easy. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't go for the glitches, you don't go for, the weird stuff, you try to plan it out and really take them on, it's exhilarating. So I give them that. Fighting the hordes is fun. But Here we go. So that's pretty much it from my point of view on stuff like that. Uh, there's just certain things that I didn't like about the game so far. Um, like for example, you spend 20 plus hours in the game, right? And you have all these weapons that you find, but you can't keep them because you have to buy the weapons and store them in your locker. So pretty much the weapons that you find are pretty much useless, right? Sure, you may if you run out of the weapon you equip yourself. Sure, you pick a weapon up, you shoot it, pick another weapon up, you shoot it, but then that's about as far as it goes, right? Later on, you get the ability to pick up the ammo, to refill your own weapon, right? But that's so deep into the game. Like, I'm at the fourth camp. I don't know how much more time I have in the fourth camp, but that ability should have been early in the game, right? Another thing that should have implemented is all these weapons and stuff laying around. You should have been able to keep them and use them as parts, you know, for something, whatever, right? And there were times I found like the really good weapons, but I can't keep them because you have to purchase them. And I thought that was stupid, especially when you think about it. It's a post-apocalyptic zombie freaker world, right? But you can't keep these resources. Like, who would like if you lived in this world? Somebody says not true. You can't keep them. No, because I asked that question. I grabbed the weapon, but it's not in my locker. And if you throw them away, you lose them. You have to buy the weapons in order for them to be in your locker and have them equipped all the time. Now, technically, if you're saying keeping them in terms of you grab them and just hold on to them, then yeah, what I'm saying. But if you lose it, whatever, it's gone. Like for example, I found one of the main machine guns, right? The machine guns that you would normally purchase. So I got the machine gun. I'm like, cool. I died, right? After I died, it's gone because it's not part of my equipment set. The weapon that got replaced is their weapon. Like for example, your drifter crossbow, right? If you bought the special edition, you get the drifter crossbow by default, right? So I got the drifter crossbow. The machine gun replaces the drifter crossbow. So let's say if you go on a field on the ground and you find this machine gun, right? And you're like, oh shit, that's the machine gun, right? Let's say, because in order to get the machine gun, you have to be level 3 in one of the camps, right? I forgot which camp, but one of the camps you have to be level 3 in order to buy it, right? But let's say you're not level 3. And it takes a while to be level 3. But I found this machine gun early in the game. I'm like, oh snap, I got the machine gun, right? So you pick up the machine gun, the drifter crossbow drops because you can only carry one special weapon at a time. Cool. Got it. I died. So when I revive back or whatever, I don't have the machine gun. I'm back to the drifter crossbow. You can't keep it. The only way you could keep the machine gun is you have to buy it, which doesn't make sense. Because again, it's a post-apocalyptic world. Why would you not keep one of the best weapons in the game that you find? It just doesn't make sense to me. And it's annoying. It bothers me because there's weapons everywhere. They could have created a system where I will say this. One, you have in a world where everybody is still able to repair and soup up bikes, you're telling me you can't have an armorer out there to soup up weapons, which to me is probably more important than the bike itself? You're telling me there's nobody that knows how to build weapons and improve weapons. You know what I'm saying? They didn't think about that. I would have made the one of the weapons dealer into a person that can improvise weapons, improve on the thing. I mean, they do have easy, cheesy improvements. Like you could buy improve ammo, and then one of your skill sets improve, aiming and stuff like that. But the reality is, they should have done more with all these weapons. You could have used them as parts, build other weapons, or let's say like some of the weapons you buy are in poor condition, right? You buy a poor condition weapon from the merchant, okay? Well, you should have been able to get an ability or go to an armorer to change that poor condition weapon into a better weapon by collecting different types of parts and rifles, bringing it back to the armorer and whatchamacallit, and be like, hey, this is what you do. This is what you have right over here. And then, the armorer would be like, okay, now your rifle, which you bought as a poor condition, is now average condition. And then you could upgrade it from average condition to good condition to military spec condition. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And I think those are missed opportunities for that game. Carlos Fernandez, $5 super chat, man. Thank you so much, hermano. He says these Xbox don't play movies, they play NASDAQ and YouTube. And by the way, I got 5 more trophies to go, and I'll get the plat for Days Gone. Oh, snap. Good stuff, Carlos. Looking at the plats, it looks pretty easy, so I might try to go for the plat, depending. I mean, because the plats, you look at it, The list is doable. So I might plat that game. I might go for it, depending how I feel about it. But you see, there's a lot of things like that. Again, I'm not done with the game. The game is picking up. I'm at the fourth camp. The game is picking up. It picked up dramatically as compared to it. But to me, so let's say for those of you who played it, right? You got the first camp, right? To me, the first camp storyline should have been the tutorial phase of the game. Learn about the mechanics, learn about the gameplay, drive to many locations, learn about the Nero checkpoints, learn about taking over the Marauders, stuff like that. Learn about crafting. Go, just do all the, you know, tutorial part. Okay, got it. Now you got the tutorial all out the way. All right, introducing some characters and stuff like that. Now you get to the second camp. Now this is where the story should have picked up from the second camp. Now, first camp story slow is more about the tutorial, not so much trying to drive you into the story. It's setting the stage for the story, but the primary focus of the first camp storyline is to get you familiar with the gameplay mechanics and the things that's happening in Days Gone, right? The basics. Then the second camp, right? Story is now picking up. It's all about the story. Now the focus is on the story. All the basics, you're going to refine them during the second camp storylines. You're refining all these basics that you learned in the first camp because the focus now is now they need to ramp up the story. Really get you hooked in, get you to where, and I'll be honest, playing this game, I was not looking forward coming home and playing the game like I was with God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, or many other games. It wasn't like, oh man, I can't wait to go home. I gotta play Days Gone. It wasn't. I was like, man, I'll go back and play this game, because the hook wasn't there. The hook should have been in the second storyline and then just focus on refining what you learned. Then the third camp, the advanced lessons of things. Maybe learn about the Horde, give you advanced gameplay mechanics while maintaining the storyline. You maintain it and keep building up on it. And now the fourth camp is where things get crazy. And that's why I think a lot of the reviewers slammed the hell out of this game, right? The game being boring is all opinion, okay? But it's no coincidence that the majority of the reviewers found the game boring. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence, all right? Remember, these are the same reviewers that love God of War, so you can't say they're Sony haters. They love God of War. Majority of them love Horizon Zero Dawn. Majority of them love Bloodborne. A lot of them like Ratchet and Clank. They gave a lot of reviews to a lot of games. But this game, they hit it hard. And the reason why is if you go so many hours of the game now hooking you in, then they're going to start focusing on dumb shit. That's just a reality. Because there's nothing really to focus on. So they're going to start nitpicking some of the dumb stuff. Like there are some stuff in the game that I thought was just dumb to nitpick. Like some of the storylines, some of the storylines are cheesy, but it's not that detrimental that you're going to give a game a 5 just because you didn't like some of the storylines, I mean, I think one reviewer from GameSpot didn't like the line of, I hope you promise to ride me like you ride your bike. I guess that pissed her off, whatever. Now, if the game was more engaging, she probably wouldn't have cared for the line. But because it's pretty boring, she was able to pick that one line out. If the game's pretty boring, people are going to nitpick dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Which takes away from the merit of the game. Hopefully, if you look at the recent MPDs, Days Gone has sold incredible. So chances are it's going to have a sequel because at the end of the day, money talks. I just hope they do a better job with the pacing. Get engaged quicker, and that will improve the game. And I think less people will nitpick some of the serious stuff. All right. But anyway, to the chat, shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for rocking out with me. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be up in here. Got 127 watching. Hit the like button. And if you don't mind, spread this out to your favorite social media and all your favorite platforms in gamings and chat rooms and pages and all that stuff. So, right, because now I'm just gonna get right into the meat and potatoes of this whole event. All right, but shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome, right? Doing this now because tomorrow I'll be in Italy, so for the next 10 days won't be around. And I'm just gonna enjoy the countryside with me and my wife, and it's gonna be an amazing time. All right. But let's get to it. All right. You see the title: "Fanboys who call gamers toxic over criticism is the new corporate slave tactic," pretty much, to defend their favorite company. All right. It's pretty much. Oh, hold up. Let me get back because I lost the chat. All right. Here you go. Here's the reality. All right. In fact, let's talk about toxic. Let's set the stage for the word toxic. All right. Toxic was traditionally how gamers conduct themselves towards other gamers. All right. The racist people that use the N words, people who make fun of white people, people. I remember my actual first encounter to racism in gaming was actually on Xbox Live. You know what I'm saying? It was actually on Xbox Live. I had a name similar to Puerto Rock, but it wasn't Puerto Rock. So hell, I forgot what it was. It was a long time ago, right? So logged on, got Xbox. I was not part of the beta. I got Xbox Live when it was no, in fact, I didn't even have a name. No, in fact, my name wasn't Puerto Rock at all. I didn't use that name until later on. In fact, the name wasn't even. It was like Izon or some. Damn, I can't remember. But anyway, um, it was my voice and me talking, and in the background. So I'm playing Halo 2, and then like in the background, you hear my family talking Spanish, and they hear me, and people on my team were like, "Hey, yo, you Spanish?" You know, and and I told them, "Yeah, my family's from Puerto Rico." I'm literally telling them, I literally just told them my family's from Puerto Rico. They answer back, "Oh, I never realized Mexicans can afford Xbox Live." Mind you, Xbox Live at the time is only $50 a year. And I'm like, the fuck? You see what I'm saying? All right. Yo, true story. Wild as shit. My own teammates. I didn't know them. It was random, but crazy, right? So of course, people don't realize I love to shoot the shit and talk shit. And if that's what's gonna happen, fuck it, let's pop off. And so of course I talked my shit. And then it just got out of hand, but whatever. Okay. But toxicity was that. How people treated each other, beyond just simple trash talking in multiplayer. You know what I'm saying? Or in sports games and Madden and stuff like that. All right. Okay. That's all it was. I mean, that's what it primarily is, you know, derogatory language towards people, talking about their religion, hating on their race. Carlos Fernandez, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. He goes, "How can you be toxic when the facts?" Oh shit, your shit disappeared, dog. Message retracted. Oh shit, that you retracted your message? Well, post your stuff up. You know what I'm saying? Just hit me on the chat, and then I'll pay attention, read it. Right? Okay. So back to what I was saying. So toxic pretty much was what you gonna call it, how people treat each other. Racism. For regardless, towards white people, to black people, to Latinos, to Asians, toxic, right? Harassing people. A lot of times you see females, they don't even name themselves a girl's name, whatever, simply because it attracts dudes, and for some reason, everybody wants to go out on a date over PSN Xbox Live as if it's Tinder or some shit, right? So constant harassment over females and stuff like that, that's toxic, It's actually an attack on people outside of normal trash talking during gameplay, You could trash talk during gameplay, but at the end of the game, whatever, hey, no doubt, hey, good game, good match, whatever, the teabagging, bullshit, or you suck, or I'm about to kill you, all these trash talking. You play Madden, you know what I'm saying, interception, all the trash talking behind sports, shooters, fighters, stuff like that. But at the end of the game, you congratulate the gamer, you give props, good game, no doubt. Yo, hook up. Hey, yo, I add you to my friends list. And that's what it was. Toxicity is how you treat people in gaming. How you treat people in gaming. The Ruham. Thank you for the super chat. What's good, P Rock? Oh, we chilling right here. We chilling right now. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for rocking out with me. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. That's what toxicity is. It's towards people. It's how you treat other gamers. It's how you talk to each other during gameplay. It's not how you talk about corporations or plastics or games. There's nothing toxic over saying a game sucks ass. There's nothing toxic over saying this company sucks and they're going to ruin the brand. There's nothing toxic over saying this service is garbage. There's nothing toxic about that. Because it's a product, it's a consumer product. All right? If you feel something sucks, then you say, voice your opinion, say it sucks. If you feel this company destroyed the brand, then you feel and say the company destroyed the brand. Whatever you feel sucks is garbage or trash. That's all that is. It's an opinion towards an inanimate object or to a corporation. That's all it is. That's not toxic. How is that toxic at any point? You know? So how did that come up and why is it existing? It's simple. Because the people who are using that narrative are just simply trying to shame your voice, because that's the method to protect their favorite product, right? And I'm sorry to say, the primary group who's using this tactic is Xbox fanboys. You know, the reason why now I'm talking about this is because a couple of days ago, a former Xbox dude, I forgot his name, Supersonic Stations, a former Xbox dude, after E3, he flipped the switch. He says he's done. Screw Xbox. He's not messing with the brand no more. Carlos, Puerto Rock, 77. How can facts be toxic when Phil has diminished the need to buy the next gen Xbox through Game Pass, Ultimate, and XR game streaming? Exactly. That's not a toxic statement saying that Xbox consoles has been devalued because you don't need the console no more. You could get the services somewhere else. That's exactly a truthful statement. That's not toxic. It's reality, right? Great point. Thank you for the super chat, Carlos. So this former Xbox diehard, said he's done. After E3 is the last straw, he's not waiting no more, right? So now he went on little tirade, whatever. One of the points, which reminded me, one of the points he said was, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, funny years ago, and this is him saying, funny years ago, you same Xbox guys used to call PlayStation 4 games, rentals, you know what I'm saying? Or Redbox gaming. But now you guys hype Game Pass, which is pretty much Redbox gaming. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, how did I forget about that? How did I forget? Because I remember that. I remember in the beginning of the gen, the first 2-3 years, they used to call PlayStation Redbox Station because the games weren't worth anything. They were just simply rentals, right? But now Game Pass is literally a rental service, right? A lot of the games, oh yeah, this was great because I just played that game for $1. So the very thing they used to shame PlayStation for, to try to insult or try to shame PlayStation games, they now praising Xbox, but it's reality. A lot of Xbox games are now rent box games, right? It's pretty funny. And that's when I started to be like, you know what? Let me do some certain things, right? So what I did was I went through Twitter, right? Looked at some videos for bashing products across gaming, right? So I looked at PC-centric bashing, right? Channels where PC gamers getting bashed, and I looked through the comment section, right? People bashing PC gaming because, it crashes, whatever issues they claim to have, right? You don't see PC gamers countering with, oh, you just being toxic. They counter with their own perceived facts, the quality of the video cards, stats, things like that. Gamers complain about PC gamers because of updates. Well, PC gamers show them, hey, you can do auto updates. They counter with facts, right? but you don't really see the PC community just shaming people for being toxic. Then I look at Nintendo, right? I look at the people who are bashing Nintendo because of no voice chat, whatever the issues Nintendo Switch has. Again, you don't see Nintendo fans just simply going at them with, "Oh, you're toxic." They're countering with facts and stuff like that, or some of them, many of them, be like, "Yeah, these are issues, but," and da 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 da, right? Same thing with PlayStation. Especially with censorship. There's a lot of people bashing Sony over censorship of a lot of games. You see that. You see people bash Sony because of lack of crossplay and cross save, all those issues, right? Days Gone reviews. You see a lot of people saying Days Gone is trash. A lot. But the counter isn't, "Oh, you're just being toxic." A lot of counters is, again, perceived opinions that counter it, right? But when you see a lot of negativity towards Xbox, in terms of trashing it, saying, "Hey, this is wrong, this sucks, yada, yada, yada," right off the bat, they're going to shame you. They're going to tag you. "Oh, you're just another console fanboy just being toxic. Just block him. He's toxic. He's bad for gaming. It's because of guys like him. People don't even want to game." Instantly. That's the instant defense. They don't address the point, because at least if you're going to address the point, if it's a fake point or if it's a lie, then address the point for what it is. If you got a PlayStation fanboy making up a lie about Xbox, then preach the truth and back it up with the fact, so that way you could show, "Hey, this dude is lying. This dude's not presenting facts. Here's the facts about Xbox or this point that you're trying to make up." But they don't do that, because most of the time, a lot of criticisms is valid and it's factual. A lot. I didn't say all of them, because there are some crazy wild stuff that's out there, but a lot. And instead of either A, "Hey, he had a point, I'm gonna mind my business," no, they go on this spree, try to shame that user, right? They all gather around and everybody's now tagging that person as toxic, and then boom, that's the tactic they're trying to do. Instead of trying to counter the merit of the point, right? If it's a lie, then counter it. Show everyone that point is false. If the point's true, you're just gonna have to deal with it. If you don't like to see it, then just move on. Scroll past it, mute the conversation, or block the person. Just don't put your input of, "Oh, that's toxic. You're just being toxic." Because the true definition of toxic is what I said before in the beginning of this live stream. It's how we conduct ourselves. The racism, the insults towards people culture, the harassment over people, the harassment over that women face, girl gamers and stuff like that. Just all across how we treat each other, beyond just simple gaming trash talk, competitive trash talk. People are doing the most. That's what's toxic. People talking trash over plastic or company, that's not toxic at all, right? So this narrative is created. So why? Why did it create this narrative? It's simple. Because they realize majority of the criticism are valid, but they want to shh. That's pretty much what it is. It's a shh. It's a shush job. That's all it is. It's a complete shush job to silence the voices of the issues that these products have. Okay. Carlos Fernandez, $5. The Surge. At The Surge. P-Rock just pointed out a perfect example, and you just made his point. Gamer by choice, not by trend. Xbox like you do not compute sense. All right. Oh shit. So Surge must have said something, right? Here's the reality. Any criticism towards a piece of plastic, and I'm going to say this for everybody, any criticism towards a piece of plastic, whether it's PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, understand it is not a criticism towards you. You, me, I'm not PlayStation. So if you call it gay station, you're not calling me gay. I have no association to where an insult to that piece of plastic is a directed insult to me. It's not. If somebody says PlayStation Pro is a weak piece of shit, That is not the same as somebody saying Puerto Rock 77 is a weak piece of shit. The two are not aligned in criticism. One is a criticism towards the piece of plastic, which has nothing to do with the identity or the characterization of me. Right? Your gaming console is not you. Carlos Crespin. Bro, how are they still going to buy the Scarlet while hyping up xCloud and claiming exclusives are anti-consumer? They're contradicting themselves. That's a video in of itself with the whole xCloud thing. All right, it's just crazy. The same people that want the most powerful consoles are the same people that want to play on a phone in their house because they want to play on their bed. It's freaking wild. But that's a conversation for another day. But it's wild, right? But anyway, no criticism towards a piece of plastic is a criticism towards the people who enjoy that plastic. You know, if a person says Xbox sucks, it's not saying Xbox gamers suck. But the problem is a lot of gamers identify with the console, so the attack on the console is an attack on them. An attack on the company is an attack on them, which is the dumbest mindset I have seen in gaming. Completely dumb. If you are tied in some form or fashion to the company and to the box, you might want to reevaluate your life so that way you can actually do things that actually define you. You understand what I'm saying? That's you might want to do something like that. Because make no mistake, criticisms towards these consoles is not a criticism towards you. You have nothing to do with this. We have nothing to do with this. All right. Because at the end of the day, we're not the ones who makes the good or bad decisions. It wasn't us who decided to release Xbox One for $500 because the Kinect camera was an important part of important strategy of the Xbox program. We didn't decide that. None of us decided that. That's not our fault that was a huge issue. You know, it wasn't us who made the decision when they revealed Xbox One to talk about TV. That's not us. We had nothing to do with that. It wasn't us, hell, over 13 years ago to announce the PlayStation 3 was $600 because of the cell processor and the Blu-ray player. We didn't make that decision. That had nothing to do with us. The company made those dumb decisions. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that screwed it up. And they're the ones that made the product look bad. So people responded with negative criticism. Right? This is a dangerous trend to try to shame negative criticisms because that's what makes the product better, right? Xbox, a lot of Xbox dudes feel victimized this gen, and I have no idea how and why they feel like a victim. Look up the definition of the word victim. A console sucking ass doesn't make you a victim. It's not an attack on you. You have nothing to do with it. You know, last gen, PS3, PlayStation 3 launched terribly. It had, for the first 3 years or so, terrible time. It was very expensive. Did not have a lot of big AAA new IPs, no killer exclusive to justify the $600 price tag, right? The sales of the console was so bad, right? Now keep in mind, PlayStation 3 launched in November 2006, right? The sales of the console was so bad that in mid 2009, keep in mind, almost 3 years into the generation of PlayStation, right? The CEO of Activision, Bobby Kotick, released a press release and told the gaming world that unless Sony finds a way to improve the sales of the PlayStation 3, Activision will consider no longer supporting the platform. And if you remember last gen, the hottest game out or hottest franchise out was Call of Duty. By far. Hell, to this day, it's still the hottest franchise, whether we like it or not. The game is always the number one seller year over year, right? So imagine no Call of Duty on PlayStation. It would be the equivalent of EA pulling support from Dreamcast. It's a wrap. You know, PlayStation launching with no Rumble, and they have the nerve to tell people Rumble's last gen. Huge criticisms and attack on Sony from not just Xbox fans and Nintendo fans, but from the PlayStation fans more than anything else. That's why Sony brought back DualShock 3 with Rumble. Huge criticism towards Sony about not having an achievement type system when Xbox has an achievement type system, and yet the games cost the same. A lot of PlayStation fans had issue with that because the multiplats, right, cost $60 just like the Xbox version. But the Xbox 360 gamers, they got achievement systems, so they get to enjoy a little bit more out of the game as compared to PlayStation 3 gamers. Huge criticisms over that. Huge criticisms over the $600 price tag. Huge criticism of where are the damn AAA exclusives? Where are the JRPGs? Lots of criticisms. At no point did people consider that toxic. It wasn't toxic, right? Toxicity was based on how we conduct business with one another, especially when it comes to online gaming, because now you have more interaction with more people than ever before. That's what the toxicity lies, not in the criticism of the platforms, right? But now a narrative is being built or already has been built that if any gamer criticizes products, boom, flag them as toxic. So that way people could see that his or her opinion is not valid. It's just built on hate and whatever. That's all it is. Completely ignore whatever. And that's bullshit, right? If you don't like the opinion that you're hearing, then just scroll by. Again, mute, block, stick to your hive to where everything is just living in the land of milk and honey, right? But let's be real about something, right? A lot of people, a lot of gamers, right, started this whole conversation in gaming, or some gamers, a lot of gamers, right, in 2017, last year, and they're just starting to get into Twitter now, right? And a lot of you guys, right, if you're new to the channel, or if you're just watching this video, you're just starting to get into YouTube, whatever. If you weren't around in 2013 up to the beginning of 2017, there is a lot of backstory you guys have not seen from gamers, primarily from Xbox gamers, right? You have not seen a lot of the BS that they pulled, right? Right. To recap, if you're new, if you didn't pay attention to YouTube in 2013, 14, 15, 16, right? Let me tell you some of the BS that they pulled. Number one, Xbox One was better than the PS4 because of exclusives. It had AAA exclusives while PS4 was primarily pushing indie games and multiplats. That was the narrative for 4 years, right? On the flip side, PlayStation gamers was talking about the power over the PlayStation multiplats, right? That's true. That's not a lie. But the thing that Xbox gamers are not mentioning is also because PlayStation 4 was cheaper. A lot of gamers were also pushing that point that, hey, they bought a PlayStation 4 because it's a more powerful console at a cheaper price. The Xbox One launched at $500 for a camera as compared to getting a more powerful PlayStation 4 for $400. So when people saw what did you get, like if you choose Xbox, what did the extra $100 result in? Because that's what you would have to pay for an Xbox One at the time, right? Especially for the first 8 months, right? And the answer was you got a camera, which wasn't supported, and you do got exclusives, AAA IPs, but they weren't big killer apps. A lot of people didn't really care about their Rise 60 Metacritic rated game. A lot of people didn't really care for that. Sunset Overdrive, a decent game. It's not like Microsoft launch with like big game of the year killer apps. You understand? Even the Master Chief Collection 2014. Oh man, you get all the Halos 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the multiplayer, right? Halo Master Chief Collection launched a disaster. The multiplayer was a complete disaster, right? The game launched, I think, October 2014. And in March 2015, they were still doing updates trying to fix the multiplayer. It launched as a huge disaster. So a lot of people did not see what are you getting for an extra $100. But nobody wants to talk about that though, right? Then they put the narrative that Sony's broke because at the time Sony was shutting down the PC division. So they stopped, as you know, they stopped making the Vio series, no more laptops, no more desktops. So that part of the division got shut down, and any facilities that supported that division, they were selling the buildings, the manufacturing plants, all that stuff going away, right? Somehow that happening meant the PlayStation division can't afford new AAA games. That the only thing that you will see from the PlayStation 4 are indies and marketing deals from multiplats. That was a narrative that was used for like 2 years. It was like a narrative, right? And because that was the narrative being used, a lot of Xbox fanboys were saying, well, if PlayStation is nothing but multiplats, I could play multiplats on my Xbox One. So why do I need a PlayStation 4? Because again, it was about the exclusives, right? In fact, one of the biggest things was sparse. Type up PS4 sparse. You'll see a lot of memes and shit talking over sparse because Sony themselves, at least they admitted, they were like, hey, our first party lineup is pretty sparse at this point in time. So they recognize, hey, we have a problem. And as you can clearly see, they fixed it, right? That was the narrative on that. Huge narrative. PSN doesn't work. Nobody is on PSN. Well, we know that's not true. You see Sony with the monthly active users and the subscriber base easily probably surpasses Xbox Live Gold. In fact, Microsoft don't even talk about Xbox Live Gold, right? They talk about Sony, nobody buys games on PlayStation. It's a rental service. People just go to Redbox and rent PlayStation 4 games. Nobody really cares. Well, we see that's not true. In fact, majority of the game sales are on PlayStation. You saw The Witcher 3, right? 19% of the sales is on Xbox, 39% of the sales is on PlayStation 4, 40 something percent is on PC. So the majority of the sales is between PlayStation 4 and PC. Matt Piscatella a couple of weeks ago showed the top 10 most sold games per platform since the start of the gen. Since the start of November 2013 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, right? The top 10 games, not a single first-party game for Microsoft on their top 10. Every single game on the list is third-party. On the PlayStation list, 2 out of the 10 is Sony first-party. The other 8 are multiplats. But you at least got 2, God of War and Spider-Man. So much for rental service, right? Uncharted 4 sold 17 million. Probably the highest selling game out of all Sony's first party for global, and clearly outselling any Xbox game. I mean, hell, like I said, top 10 games in the US NPD for Xbox, not a single first party game, which means no Halo, no Gears of War. Think about it. The top 10 most sold games at NPD for Xbox at the start of the gen till I think they stopped it at April, right? So from November 2013 to April 2019, Halo's not on the list for the first time. Halo's always been a top seller on the Xbox platform. Halo, you know what I'm saying? Halo 2 was the highest selling, was a top 10 seller for OG Xbox. Halo 3 was a top 10 seller. Hell, I think Halo 3 was a top 5 seller on the 360. Xbox One, none of them. Pretty crazy, right? Even now, May MPD recently released yesterday, right? Days Gone is the 8th best-selling game of 2019, and it had back-to-back top 10 MPD, right? So it was in the top 10 MPD in April, top 10 MPD in May, back to back, right? Despite having sub-average reviews, but a lot of people went out and bought the game. Where's Crackdown at? Because apparently everybody's playing Crackdown, right? Everybody loves Crackdown 3. It's great. Most played game when it came out. It's nowhere near on the list. And apparently Game Pass helps improve game sales. Yet not one single Microsoft first-party published game is top 10 most sold throughout 2019 at this point, while PlayStation has 2, Days Gone and MLB The Show 2019. That's pretty crazy, especially for a baseball game that's only available on one platform. It's not like a multi-plat like Madden or NBA 2K. Pretty impressive, right? Shout out to the chat, right? A lot of Nintendo games are also top 10. The main point about this is this: trying to silence or shame gamers into criticizing consoles, plastic companies is actually a pathetic tactic. It's actually pretty pathetic. If you don't like what people saying about a plastic, then just don't pay attention to it. Scroll by, mute the conversation or just block the person. There's no reason to try to shame the person for talking shit or viewing an opinion, a negative opinion over something. You know how many people talk trash about Days Gone? I didn't have a heart attack over it. Hell, the beginning of my podcast, a lot of my stuff is negative criticism. I mean, I'm not gonna cry over negative criticism. If you notice what I do, the thing I do on this channel is not just simply cry because somebody has a negative opinion. I go after the bullshit information. Because to me, that's the bullshit information. Because bullshit information spreads like a disease. And like Sylvester Stallone and Cobra, I'm the cure. You're the disease. I'm the cure. That's the only thing that annoys me. Because bullshit information, bullshit, statements, when clearly a little bit of research, you can see the facts behind something, that creates a community of dimwits and morons. If nobody calls out the bullshit information, all we're doing is creating a gaming community of idiots talking about shit that doesn't even make sense, right? Like just the other day, not even the other day, earlier today, I saw a tweet from a Nintendo Switch advocate, and he says that the next iteration of the Switch Pro, is going to be more powerful than the PS5 and Xbox Anaconda. So the Switch Pro is going to have more performance power than the PS5. So two consoles that could potentially be $500, right? The Switch, a mobile device, is going to have more power in a mobile device. So apparently NVIDIA has mobile technology that's more powerful than a Ryzen CPU and a Navi GPU. And he was serious as shit over it. That's the shit that I go after. Like, even if you're not a hardcore gamer, right? If you know anything about Ryzen CPU and GPU, right? Do you know how much a mobile version of a system that has more power than a Ryzen and a Navi combo, do you know how expensive that device would be? It would be like almost $1,200, because if you try to take, it's just like anything. Let's say you try to take a powerful desktop PC, right? A tower, right? You got a real powerful PC desktop that does 4K, 60 frames, real powerful. And you try to take that desktop and shrink it into a laptop version will be much more expensive because now you shrunk down the components and made it mobile. The fact of the portability increases the price exponentially. So to get a Switch Pro that's more powerful and better performance than a PS5 and an Xbox One Scarlet, that thing will be like $1,200. Look at the Switch. The Switch is more expensive than the PlayStation Slim. And it's a weaker product compared to the PlayStation 4, because the PlayStation 4 Slim is pretty much PlayStation 4. It's the same guts, right? And the console is 6 years old. It's from 2013. But yet the Switch costs more than a console that came out in 2013, and it's a little bit weaker. And you see how expensive the Switch is. You're going to tell me a Switch Pro? You know what I'm saying? That's what I go after, like some crazy BS statements, Go after the statements of people calling games one and done and Jap trash. That's the silly shit, That's just the silliness I go after, the false information, If you remember a long time ago, I broke out the whiteboard when one channel talked about PlayStation attach ratio is pathetic and poor, and PlayStation 4 is just not doing good. Why I brought out facts that PlayStation 4 is in line with some of the best-selling consoles of all time in terms of game ratio. You know, how many games are sold per console? PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, PlayStation 1. I put them all in line. So the people that thought PlayStation 4 is actually having a terrible gen because of ratios, then that means every console had a terrible gen because of ratios. Because PlayStation 4 was actually doing better than the PlayStation 2 in terms of ratio. Right? That's the stuff I bring out because bad information, fake news, lies, misinformation, it just creates a culture of ignorance. And when you have a culture of ignorance, then you really can't have a conversation with other gamers because gamers are just talking nonsense that don't make sense. And then at a certain point, it's like there's just really no point in having a conversation with people if they're only talking about BS. Like you just really don't know what's going on. So there's no value in the conversation. That's the stuff that I do, right? That I talk about. Okay. I'm gonna end off this. I'm gonna say this, and then there's one more topic I want to talk about. You know, so I'll just add a bonus topic. All right, the power narrative. I'm just gonna warn everybody because I went through this with the Xbox Scorpio. That for a whole year, people just talked about power. You know, and now as we're getting closer to next gen, it's only gonna get worse. So I'm warning you, it's only gonna get worse. You're gonna hear pretty much almost daily leak specs of PlayStation 4, I mean PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlet. And every other day, you're gonna see videos, you're gonna see YouTube, you're gonna see Twitter conversations of confirmed Xbox more powerful than PlayStation 5. Confirmed PlayStation 5 is more powerful than Xbox. Confirmed, 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 confirmed. And it's gonna be like ping pong. You're gonna be like this all day. All right. I'm gonna tell you about this. The reality is this. Number one, both consoles are going to have Ryzen and Navi. That is already certain because Sony said they got Ryzen CPU and Navi. Microsoft, Ryzen CPU and Navi. That alone is a monumental difference compared to what we got with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One that had the combo of Jaguar CPU, which is actually a mobile CPU, a shitty one at that. They didn't even use Puma because Puma is actually the better mobile CPU over Jaguar, you know. But I think Puma only has 4 cores. I don't think they ever made an 8-core one. But that would have been the one to go to, you know, Puma cores. But no, of course, they went with the shitty Jaguar. Even with the refresh, Pro and Xbox One X, they still went with Jaguar. Shittiest CPU, right? And they had the Polaris GPU. So just on the merit that Sony and Microsoft are going with Zen 2 Ryzen and Navi, they skipped Vega. They went straight to Navi. Because I thought honestly they want to go with Vega because it's the architecture that's been out longer. So they probably could have gotten a cheaper price. On Navi's like the latest tech. No, they're going straight for Navi. Just on that merit alone, the consoles are going to be powerful. The games are going to look great. Okay. The games are going to look phenomenal on both platforms. Okay. The true testament is the developers that take advantage, namely the first party developers, to bring out the most compelling games. All right. Let's look no further than this generation, right? The Xbox One X, the world's most powerful console, and really the only first party game post release Xbox One X that showed the performance and the graphics has been Forza. Microsoft has not released a new AAA game to take advantage of the power to show the world the power. You know what I'm saying? State of Decay definitely doesn't look like something an Xbox One X should have, right? What else? What you call it? Crackdown 3 definitely doesn't represent the Xbox One X in any good light, right? Disneyland Adventures, you know, Phantom Dust original assets. Yo, it's the list goes on, right? Post release of Xbox One X, Microsoft has not capitalized on that, right? And even then, at this past E3, Battletoads, right? For like 2 years or whatever, when they announced Battletoads, everybody's hyping Battletoads. Oh my God, this is the great game I've been waiting. And what do they show you? They show you a 2D indie type game. Again, nothing taking advantage of the Xbox One X. You see what I'm saying? All that power for what? So you could say you got the best version of Call of Duty? That ain't enough. That ain't enough. You understand? Both PlayStation 5 and Xbox, Anaconda, Scarlet, whatever they're going to call it, both have Ryzen, both have Navi, both are going to have a decent amount, a great amount of RAM. They're both going to do solid state drive technology to have games render faster. They're both going to be great assets, right? On a technical standpoint, on paper, they're going to be great machines. Regardless, is one more powerful than the other, okay? But at the end of the day, what do the developers make to take advantage of that? All right. Right now, the fact is, I ain't gonna say the fact, my opinion, I'll replace it. My opinion, Sony has the ball in their court, right? Why? So, number one, from Microsoft's perspective, they are really pushing Game Pass, if you haven't noticed. Okay. And ever since they pushed Game Pass, you have not seen them announce a lot of new big AAA titles. A lot of the titles new that are being pushed from Microsoft are titles that go straight to Game Pass and can fill up the library of Game Pass. And I think that's a key mission for Microsoft, to have all these studios to quickly churn out games to fill up the library of Game Pass, so that way the quantity of Game Pass is appealing. Now, a lot of people are going to say quality over quantity, which is a true statement, but Game Pass is only $10 a month. And as you can see, Microsoft is giving it away for like $1, $5, whatever. So at such a cheap price, a lot of gamers are excusing the lack of quality of these games. Look at Crackdown 3. Look no further than Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3, right? No one cared that the game was trash because you could play for $1. The game is fun. That's all that mattered. Do you get fun for $1? You see what I'm saying? So Microsoft knows this. They know they can pad Game Pass with quick titles that come out every 2 years, get the developers to push games every 2 years. Of course, you're going to have your big plus games, right? Gears has been a AAA title day one, so that's always going to maintain as a big budget. Halo, Forza, and I think potential title from Playground with Fable, I think that's going to be a big budget title. And I think the initiatives probably create one big budget title. But a lot of the other developers is going to be 2-year type games, double A's, indies, to really pad Game Pass. So that way people could say, man, all these games for just $10 a month, cool, I'm down. Sony, on the other hand, they haven't done that. So in their eyes, they want you to buy the game directly from retail or digital downloads for $60, which means if you're asking a consumer for $60, then you better push out a big, compelling quality product. And you can see Sony constantly talks to everybody, hey, we're still all about the big single-player experiences. They constantly remind us because they know what people on PlayStation want. And they know we are willing to pay for it. Look no further than some of the best-selling games, Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, hell, even Days Gone is doing great. We're going to pay money for big, compelling games, So with that, next generation console comes out, Scarlet versus PS5. If Sony's attitude is, we got to sell $60 games, so they got to be big and compelling, Microsoft mindset is, we got to fill up Game Pass, so we got to release quick games that are made within 2-3 years and get them out there. Who's going to have, when you compare the two titles, who's going to have more big AAA titles for their platform? that takes advantage of the power as compared to people who making titles for double A or whatever, you know. Now, hopefully, my view does not come true. Hopefully, Microsoft puts more effort into big AAA titles, even though it's for Game Pass, but at least they try. They try to attract consumers to Game Pass with big titles and not with quick double A indie titles. That's what I'm hoping for. Because at the end of the day, all I really care about is the game. You know, now granted, next gen is going to be on PC. I'm not getting an Xbox, but it's still a Microsoft game, you know, and hopefully the games are big and compelling. You know, doesn't really matter at this point where you play it on, right? That's what I'm hoping for. So I hope I'm completely wrong on that. I hope Microsoft does not have the mindset of pushing quick games to pad Game Pass. Hopefully, it's big, compelling titles. That's what I'm hoping for, right? So the power, again, Ryzen, Navi, they're both going to have it. They're both going to be incredible machines. But who is going to take advantage with what they're working with? And who's going to push out the biggest blockbuster titles for next gen? That is the real conversation you guys need to have, you know? Because I don't have a PlayStation 4 Pro. I have the PlayStation 4 Vanilla. And God of War looks phenomenal on a 1 T flop console. I'm just saying. And I'm going to leave you all with that. This is your boy Porter Rock 77, your only friend in these YouTube streets. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification button, and check out for future content. You're not going to see new content over the next 10 days. I'm sorry. I'm on vacation with the wife. We're going to Italy. We're going to enjoy our time. But I will be back with new videos, stuff like that. You'll probably see pictures on Twitter and stuff I'm doing, things like that, you know. Or you might see me do a quick video, like a vlog, you know, maybe do a little touring and stuff like that. Who knows? I might do something, you know, outside of gaming on my channel just for a little quick bit because I'm really excited at the places where I'm going to Italy. But anyway, thank you so much for rocking out with me. If you don't mind, hit the like button on your way out and retweet it and let people know on the conversation that we had. Of course, hit up my comment section. Let me know what you think. What's your opinion about this whole BS toxicity narrative that's being created? And let's continue the conversation on my Twitter, right? PorterRock77 _ right? Anyway, your only friend is YouTube Streets, and I'm out. You guys have a great time. Peace.